Welcome to our learning session, our live learning session, how to stream live with Wirecast Gear. I am Andrew Haley. I'm the host of our Wirecast Live show each week. And after the show, we do a live learning session here, which we record and post to YouTube so you can watch these and learn things about live streaming or particular tips. So the learning sessions generally get into the details on how to do stuff. And we also take live questions at the end of each session. But for those of you watching this later, I'm just going to show you how Wirecast Gear works and what it is exactly. We'll talk a little bit about how we designed it, how it was built, and how to use it. And it's really really as simple as using Wirecast if you've used it before, with a couple differences because of the hardware involved. So let's talk real quick about what Wirecast Gear is and what it isn't. So I want to show you this real fast. Wirecast live production software. First of all, Wirecast Gear comes preloaded. It's a dedicated custom-built solution. Windows 10 computer that we designed from the ground up to show you to run Wirecast Pro software, and comes bundled with the capture card in it. It comes with graphics and titling software, and it has the pro level of the software. So it does things like ISO recording and replay. It has this amazing 3D graphics and titling software that you can do from Newblue on it. And it is just a 9-pound system. It's very, very portable, and it's extremely rugged. It's only got one moving part on it. This is our dedicated level 4 solution. If you watched our show earlier today, Luria talked about the 4 levels of live streaming from Luria from Live Streaming Pros. And at the point at which you buy dedicated hardware with the sole intention of streaming with it, then you're in this what they call the level 4 category. And this is a level 4 solution because it is basically designed to be your live streaming and television studio in a box. It's kind of like, I like to call it like ESPN level production in a tiny rack mountable solution, something portable solution. And what it does is it has it comes with 4 channels in and out built in, so HDMI or SDI, depending on which one you buy. You can also has a bunch of I/O through the USB 3 ports. So there's, I think, 7 USB 3 ports built into it. So you can add additional things like audio interfaces for professional XLR connections through USB, professional I/O solutions. You can add additional SDI or HDMI capture cards. You can add webcams. You can do whatever you want, more or less, to bring into Wirecast, because the power of Wirecast Gear is really in the software that comes bundled on it. Now, the other thing that's cool about Wirecast Gear is that, and I'm actually running one right now. So this is a Wirecast Gear system I'm demoing for you. And, this is, for all intents and purposes, this is a Wirecast, this is an open system. So you can install not just, what's already pre-installed on it, but you can add additional software. You can treat it like a workstation. So you can add your Adobe software. You can add your nonlinear editing software, whatever it is you need to do. So after you produce or stream a live show using the Wirecast software, you can then load up something else to edit the on-demand or the highlights or do photo editing or whatever. So it's a one-stop shop system if you need it to be. And so I'm actually going to show that by showing you the taskbar here in a second. I'm going to show this on all screens. There we go. So that's my taskbar. You can see this is just a Windows 10 taskbar. It has preloaded stuff on here. I'm running Wirecast at the moment. As far as the actual sort of product or hardware itself, it's hard for me to show you that. So I'm actually going to launch a little. We're going to head to the Telestream website here, and we're going to talk about the. Let me pull it up real fast here. The product sheet. So the Wirecast Gear product sheet, there it is. It's in our resources section. It's downloadable. This will give you all the specs of the system. It gives you the different models and their prices. It also talks about kind of the I/O and what the processor and all of that stuff bundled across, as well as dimensions and everything there. So if you're curious about it, it's an Intel Skylake quad-core i7, and it's a very robust, powerful machine. It's got, again, lots of I/O, built-in sound cards, and built-in Wi-Fi and everything. It's rack mountable, or it can just be used on a desk like I'm doing here. And all that's available. So as I said, more or less, this is what it is. And so this is the system. And if you open Wirecast, you'll see it's already licensed, it's already bundled, and you're basically now in Wirecast production mode. And you can add sources using the built-in capture cards, which are already pre-installed. So you can see here I have a quad channel SDI card plugged in. And then I've even added, because typically in the studio I use a Mac Mini and I just run HDMI into a Magewell, I've added a second Magewell dongle, USB dongle, just these little silver guys, which are great, and through an HDMI. So I can add sources in more ways than just through the You can do, people often ask, will Wirecast Gear just do 4 cameras? And no, it won't. It will do many more than that. You can do IP sources if you have NDI sources coming in over the network. You can do SDI or HDMI through the built-in capture cards. You can even do so again, I don't have anything hooked in there, so I'm gonna delete that, but you can add, third-party capture cards through, HDMI and so forth. So I could take that live. So it's at this point you're using Wirecast and the Pro version of it. And then the other cool thing is that depending on which model of Wirecast Gear you buy, you also have access to all of the new blue power of the graphics and titling software. So let's just open Tyler Live here, which I think I have open, and you can see. There's a ton of templates and packs, and depending on which model you buy, a different version of New Blue will be bundled on it. So on the low end, just their basic templates, as well as the ability, their title designer, for you to design your own titles. So if you open Edit Title Design, you can, well, hold on, that's not very exciting. Let's say we take a template like this guy right here that flows in and my last name, and you drag that down, and suddenly you want to change something. You don't want it to be sort of this burnt orange or gray background. You want to change the colors, and you want to do more than just pick this solid color, which they actually have let you just change the color. Using this, you want to get in and maybe change the font or do anything like that. At that point, the whole template loads up in the title designer. So this is the basic title designer. We've done a lot of webinars, and I think we've done some live shows with New Blue, so you can check out those if you're curious more on how to use this software. But this basic title designer, not basic, it's extremely advanced, but this comes with the standard low-end version of Wirecast Gear. And then going up from there, which is what you're seeing here, you get more and more titles, templates in the, discard changes. So you get much more template packs, like their kinetic motion pack, which is fantastic. You get some really cool sort of stuff that they've done. You get the universal presets. You can do this amazing kind of movie style intro in 3D. All this is sort of animated in real time using a hardware acceleration and graphics accelerated 3D rendering. So it's pretty cool what they do. So you get these really neat, the Highline pack's fantastic. I love using these templates. So as you go up, you can, in Wirecast Gear models, they bundle more templates, they bundle more features, like you can add CSV files, you can do remote control of the titles over NDI from a second system. So you can have all the graphics and titles generated on another system and send them over the network. You can pull in live score data on the elite version, the advanced version of the program, and then their ultimate version has everything. And you can upgrade the software as you go. So this in and of itself is a whole nother software that has this deep capability, and you should certainly, the more you learn it, the better your productions and graphics will be, because you can see just the capabilities here are just amazing. So I'm just going to pull these in to my shot here in a second. And we're going to jump back. I'm going to just minimize that. We'll add the existing source, hit OK. And you can see that's going to pop in here, and I can take that live into my screen here. It's going to bring that on with the graphic and title, and it gets animated and so forth. And all that, again, can be controlled depending on what you want to do with it. So that is sort of a brief sort of overview of Wirecast Gear and how it works, what is on it, what the system is, and how it works for people who are curious about it. A lot of people are like, what is Wirecast Gear? Is that different from Wirecast? Is it different software, anything like that. So you can do all of what I'm showing you on your Mac or on your sort of home machine by building it out yourself. There's nothing that I'm showing you software-wise that you don't have access to directly from just downloading the New Blue software and Wirecast software together from Telestream or the New Blue Effects website. But where the gear takes off is it then combines all that onto an all ready to go out of the box system that you can use. So we wanted to save people time, we wanted to save them effort, and we wanted to be able to support them. We know everything that goes into a Wirecast gear. We know all the components, every nut, every bolt, every I/O device, in it, the software. We can even restore it and back it up, so we can support it much easier than, say, your own home system that you custom built yourself, because we don't necessarily know everything you did there or the types of parts you used and everything. So it's harder to support. But with a Wirecast gear system, you have more. We have the ability to better support people with that. And so it comes with a really great support plan and warranty and all that stuff. So again, saving you time and saving you effort, and also giving you sort of that support and peace of mind that you may want with a more dedicated sort of ready to go solution. And the last thing I want to show you is the resources that we make for Wirecast Gear. And so that is here in my browser. And I have these Wirecast Gear example setups. Now, all of this documentation is publicly available under the resources section for Wirecast Gear or Wirecast software. And you'll find a bunch of stuff sort of put together here. But if you just take a little time and read through these different things, you'll find some really useful stuff. And one of the things I really think is useful is the Wirecast Gear example setups, which I'll show you, as well as just the Wirecast example setups. So all of those, very helpful. And here is the gear example setups. This is a document that I designed to just give you a taste of the types of setups you might use with Wirecast Gear. And they go from the very basic and simple to the very advanced. And they also have a lot of mixed capabilities. One of the neat things about Wirecast and Wirecast Gear, it's very versatile in terms of the number of types of different things you can bring in. And so here we see a really basic example of just bringing in a couple HDMI cameras into the 110 and maybe a Wi-Fi camera through your iPhone. And using Wirecast Cam, the free app. We also have sort of a little more advanced. This is the one-man band. This is similar to if you need to do something all by yourself, you need to be able to control all the cameras. This is kind of what Paul from PTZ Optics does, and he runs sort of all these cameras more or less by himself, switches, and he can bring them in through the Ethernet port, honestly, over the network. And now with NDI, it's even easier. And he can control them all with a controller. And literally, when you look at the cables plugged into the gear, it's one single Ethernet cable. That's it. And he's running all the cameras and everything. And the only other things that are plugged in are maybe his monitor and his keyboard or mouse. End of story, right? So that's pretty fantastic that you can control that many things. And at that point, you're not even using the I/O card, right? Of course, all of their cameras and many cameras come with SDI. So it's one of the cool things about that. You could skip the Ethernet and the router, and you just I don't want to deal with network video. I want to deal with SDI video. I want direct. Like that. It's a little more, I feel safer about it. It feels more reliable. I can replace a cable if I don't like it. With IT stuff or the network stuff, it just maybe freaks you out, or you're not as familiar with it. Then go SDI right into the capture card. Here's another one that we kind of designed. This is common among people who want to do presentations. They want to show slides like this. They want to have a camera. They want to do picture-in-picture. They want to do all the kinds of stuff that maybe we're doing right here. And so, and maybe they have more than one type of camera. Maybe they have one coming in through Ethernet. Maybe they have one through SDI. They have one coming through HDMI, coming from an external presenter monitor. They have the Wirecast Cam because they want to add another shot. So this really shows you the flexibility of the types of I/O that I've been talking about. And then the Sirius Pro is another sort of, now we're getting crazy here, right? Like all SDI, an operator for every camera. We've got a professional I/O for audio coming in from a mixer. They're doing NDI, scan converter from the presenter's computer. So this is where it gets, again, it scales. And kind of like what we talked about earlier in our episode, a regular Wirecast Live episode today with Lurie about the 4 levels of live streaming, you can scale up and you work with what you have. And the Wirecast Gear scales really nicely for every setup, whether you're plugging in a simple webcam, just to start, and all the way up to something like this and beyond. And you could do any combination or permutation of these different setups depending on how you brought in the cameras and so forth. So I hope that gives you a very good overview of how to sort of get set up and stream. We said live stream with Wirecast Gear. It's really a simple, again, it's how do you stream with Wirecast, because your output settings are going to be how you stream live with Wirecast Gear. So nothing different there, but I didn't want to leave that out for those of you who are confused. You want to get your setup, get all that going, and when you're ready, you stream live using the Wirecast software. It's the same as it's always been that way. So it's the software. If you're familiar with Wirecast, then you'll know how to use a Wirecast Gear. Okay, so that is how to stream live with Wirecast Gear and how to set it up. Okay, thanks for tuning in, and keep streaming, and tune in next week when we interview Marty McPadden and do another live learning session, which I should really look ahead and remember what the learning sessions are that I'm doing. I can't remember what we picked. So whatever it is, it'll be announced in our updates on social media as well as on our email list if you subscribe. So talk to you later, and thanks for watching.